Pretty Girl Club. So today I'm going to talk about how being delusional is actually a compliment, and I'm going to be asking the question, are exoticals simply better at manifesting? By the way, if you hear the washer and dryer in the background, I'm sorry. I'm washing my clothes. I just worked out, so I need to get that done. But I've noticed that a lot of people have a tendency to call exoticals delusional. People will say, we are delusional about our beauty, we're delusional about people wanting our lives or wanting to look like us. But let's actually look up what it means to be delusional, because if you are spiritual, whether you're Christian, Catholic, Hindu, or anything of that nature, you know that delusion is really just the law of assumption. So, law of assumption is basically this belief where if you assume something to be true, you will naturally begin behaving as if it's true. And because you're behaving as if that thing is true, then you're going to begin to manifest experiences that align with that. And then, for those of you who are familiar with the term manifesting, or in Christianity, they call it faith or believing and receiving, you guys know that if you keep telling yourself something over and over, it actually changes your feelings about yourself, it changes your beliefs, and it changes your behaviors. So that's why they have all those subliminal videos where it's like, oh, manifest this hair texture, or manifest like losing weight or whatever. That's why they have those subliminals, because those people who are making those videos, they understand that from a scientific perspective, the thoughts that you're thinking over and over influence your behaviors and your beliefs. And so if I think I'm pretty, for example, because that's something that a lot of people like to say as an insult, you think you're cute. So if I think I'm cute, all that means is that I'm telling myself in my own brain that I'm cute so often to the point where it actually becomes an ingrained belief about myself. So if anything, that's just called self-esteem. And also, the law of assumption is something that's very powerful. Let's actually look up a quick definition for those of you who don't know what that is. The law of assumption, it says it's a positive thinking technique that suggests that your beliefs and assumptions shape your reality. So, assuming that I'm beautiful, that's actually just a positive thinking technique. And also, I've noticed that when you're considered pretty, or if you love the way that you look, a lot of people who look different than you, they will try to guilt you, and they'll try to use racism, colorism, texturism, or featureism to guilt you out of having confidence. For example, let's say I was friends with Taylor Swift in real life. I don't look like Taylor Swift. If Taylor Swift were to say, I think I'm so cute, look at my blonde hair, my blue eyes, or whatever, like if Taylor Swift thinks that her blonde hair and blue eyes and porcelain skin is pretty, I don't get offended by that, because why shouldn't she love herself? If that's how she was born, or if that's how she wants to look, she has the right to love herself. Just because she looks different than me and she loves how she looks, it doesn't mean that she's being racist against me. It doesn't mean that she hates how people of color look. This just means that she enjoys that type of beauty, or she enjoys how it looks on herself, or, people are going to say, oh, she's had plastic surgery, she's had a nose job. Okay, well, she enjoys how her nose job looks on herself. She's not being a featurist against my nose because I have a different nose than her. No, she is simply deciding, hey, I think I'm cute, and I think that this type of nose would look cute on me, or, I like my hair blonde and it looks very pretty. But I've noticed that people will try to guilt you out of thinking you're pretty, and it's actually a subconscious humbling tactic, because if a person has an inferiority complex, like for example, if I felt like my beauty was inferior to Taylor Swift's, or if I felt like, I'm inferior to white girls or something, then yes, I probably would get offended, because I'd be like, how dare you enjoy having blonde hair and blue eyes? You're a white supremacist. And also, there's nothing wrong with loving your skin tone or loving your phenotype. And I've noticed that people will say, you only like being light skinned because of colorism. That would be like if I said to Taylor Swift, you only like being a white girl because of racism. That's not true. Like, you don't know why someone thinks that they're pretty unless that person says, hey, I think I am pretty because I am simply not black, or I think I'm pretty because I am better than people of color. Unless somebody says that, then you actually cannot prove why they think that they're beautiful. So I've noticed that people will try to guilt you, and they'll try to make it like it's wrong, whatever reason why you think you're beautiful. I don't go and tell women who are petite, I don't say, oh, you only think you're beautiful because you're petite. And so you're going against women who are tall. You're going against women who are plus size. No, even if she does think she's cute because she is petite or because she is super short, that's okay. I don't have a problem with the source of where someone gets their self esteem or like the thoughts that someone thinks in their head. This is almost like thought policing. It's as if you're trying to police somebody else's self perception. And so I've noticed that the women who say that you're a delusional exotical, those women are no different than the red pill guys who say you think you're prettier than you are. You're only a 6. You're not a 10 out of 10. You're a 3. And it's like, okay, just because you called her a 3, like, what do you think that's going to do? You're literally trying to hopefully lower her self esteem so that she feels like she's in the same league as you. And I've noticed that women do this with each other's beauty. They will tell you that you're delusional or that you're a narcissist or you're, something's wrong with you for thinking you're cute. How dare you like your skin tone? How dare you enjoy having type 3 hair? You only love yourself because you're a texturist. And it's like being delusional is actually not an insult because if you want to manifest something in your life, if you want to manifest something positive, or if you want to overcome an inferiority complex, a part of how you start doing that is actually by being delusional. So only people who have a negative mindset don't understand that. Like, for example, instead of thinking, oh, my life is horrible, it can't get any worse than this, I'm just the ugliest person in the world. We all know that if you want to start having higher self esteem, you have to start off with delusion and say, hey, wait a minute, I don't have it the worst in the world. I can go up from here. Things can get better from here. So, yeah, technically you are delusional in the beginning because if you truly are having a bad day, then technically what you said is false. That's delusion. But delusion is what takes you from being insecure to having self esteem. And delusion actually changes your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. So, for example, when people do those subliminals, I'm probably going to do a series on subliminals at some point because I've actually been trying this out on myself. I've been kind of psychoanalyzing myself for about a month now before I make a series on it. Just I want to make sure that I can back up what I'm talking about. But when it comes to subliminals, or affirmations. By the way, a subliminal is really just an affirmation that somebody says, and then they're playing music over it because they want that message to get into your subconscious mind. I can make a whole other episode on that, but a belief is just something that you tell yourself over and over. That's all it is. A belief is just a thought that repeats itself. So if I keep on thinking, it can only get better from here. It can only get better from here. Even if my circumstances tell me, no, it can't. You're poor. Everyone's racist. Everyone's colors. Even if my circumstances don't line up with that, because of the way your mind works and because of you changing your own beliefs about yourself, your thoughts and your emotions are going to start to rise and you're going to start to have like higher self-esteem. You're going to begin to naturally think more positive. And if you think more positive, and you're kind of more optimistic, generally speaking, you may have a better outcome. And this is because of the reticular activator system. Whoa, that's a really big phrase. So that is actually a network of neurons located in the brainstem, and that is what mediates your behavior. Your reticular activating system. That's what influences your behavior. So if I am delusional, quote unquote, and I assume that I'm a 10 out of 10, even if a red pill guy thinks that I'm a 6 out of 10, I am actually still manifesting a 10 out of 10 self-confidence. I'm still manifesting a 10 out of 10 scenarios. You know why? Because I'm repelling the guys who think that I'm delusional. I'm actually repelling him from my inner circle because any guy who comes into my life and he says, well, you're not a 10 out of 10, you're only a 5. Well, I wouldn't want that guy in my life anyway, right? So I'm manifesting those 5 out of 10 experiences out of my life. And so when women say, oh, she's delusional, she thinks she's cuter than she is, or she thinks her eyes make her pretty, she thinks her hair makes her pretty. Okay, but even if she does think that her hair makes her pretty or her eyes make her pretty, number one, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with loving your racial background. There's nothing wrong with loving how you were born or loving how you look with certain beauty enhancements. For those of you who are against plastic surgeries and all that, there's nothing wrong with that. So that's number one. And then number two, if I have a mindset of, I am beautiful and I'm cute, like I'm the shit. If I have that mindset, then I'm actually repelling insecurities. I am repelling inferiority complexes about my skin tone. Like if I keep repeating to myself, "Oh my god, I love my skin tone. I'm so cute. Oh my gosh, look at this foundation on me. My skin's glowing." Like if I repeat that to myself, I'm actually repelling inferiority complexes tied to my skin tone. If I do the same thing with my eyes or with my hair, by the way, this works for any phenotype. But I've noticed that people who have an insecurity about that exact thing, they don't want you to feel confident in that area. So, for example, if I were insecure about my blackness, I would be offended by Taylor Swift loving her whiteness because being secure about my race would be something that is foreign to me. So then I would interpret her loving her whiteness as her being racist. And it's like, well, no, everybody is allowed to love where they come from. If you're Italian, if you're a white Italian woman or Irish or whatever, you don't have to hate yourself in order to make other people feel comfortable. But I've noticed the people who don't have self-esteem in that particular area, if they see that you do have self-esteem in that area, they're going to call it delusional because it's foreign to them. They don't know what it's like to love their skin tone or their hair texture or to love their eyes or to love their body or to love their facial features. And so if you kind of say to yourself, sometimes you won't even say it out loud, like, "Oh, I love how I look." You won't say it out loud, but sometimes you will say it in your own mind. And you know what? People actually can pick up on that. They can pick up on that. And you know what that's called? That's called confidence. That's called them being able to pick up on your confidence. You know why? Because you are carrying yourself as somebody who is a bad bitch. You're carrying yourself as someone who thinks she's cute. You are dressing as if you think you're cute. You're doing your makeup as if you like your skin tone. You're doing your hair as if you actually like how your hair texture is. Or, or if you want to change something, you are changing your whole entire nose without giving a fuck. Because it actually takes, this is another thing too, when it comes to fake beauty, because I've noticed some people, they will shame fake beauty because they are ashamed of fake beauty. So they can't, they kind of put themselves in a box, or maybe they pedestalize natural beauty over false beauty. I don't really see a difference. I kind of feel like you're still going to receive the pretty privilege, or you're still going to look pretty, whether it's fake or real. So I don't pedestalize one over the other, but for the women who feel insecure about false beauty, those are the women who will shame you for your false beauty. They will call out, "You have on fake eyelashes. You have on, you have on red lipstick. You're trying too hard." So they're shaming you because they themselves would be ashamed to do the same thing. Or have you ever been around those people who are like, "Oh, you're acting brand new because you got your hair done. You're acting brand new." They will use that phrase, acting brand new. You're acting brand new because you lost weight. You're acting fresh now because you got your hair done. You're acting like you're all that now because you got a boyfriend. Oh, you think you're better all of a sudden because you got money. They're saying that because you started off being delusional enough to think that you look good, delusional enough to think that you can still be pretty and be dark skinned, delusional enough to think that you can be pretty and light skinned, and you actually manifested the confidence and you manifested that pretty girl pedestal. And so now people are upset because they're like, "That's not fair. All of that pretty girl pedestal that you have, it came from your own delusions." And it's like, yeah, dummy, that's called manifestation and self-esteem and confidence. What have you been doing your whole life? And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but seriously. Has anyone else noticed that delusion is basically just the law of assumption? You're assuming that you're pretty enough. You're assuming that your skin tone is pretty. You're assuming that your hair texture is pretty. You are assuming that your racial background is beautiful and that the people that you came from are beautiful. That's not a bad thing. So if that's delusional, then I will choose being delusional every single day. And this is a part of my theory on why women who have maybe less traumas, or maybe women who have certain privileges, quote unquote, why they sometimes are stronger at kind of manifesting what they want. Well, it's because they are delusional. That's literally what it is. It's because they assume, because I am pretty, I deserve better, or because I'm smart, I deserve to make more money, because I am talented, I deserve to go farther. And then they actually change their behaviors though, as opposed to just saying it. Because I've noticed that some people, they will talk a big talk, but then their behaviors don't actually match it. And that's what I call out. So for example, with the whole Normani videos that I did recently, that's me calling out the hypocrisy, because it's like, no, you didn't actually believe that you were the best, or you didn't actually believe that you were worthy of what you desire, because if you truly did believe you were worthy, you would have no problem going after it. You'd have no problem making music. You'd have no problem singing if you truly believe that you are worthy to be spoken of in the same breath as other people who are great at singing. But let's think about delusion for a second. You have to be a little bit delusional to think that you can achieve your dreams. Like, if you come from generations of poverty and you think that you have a shot at being a multimillionaire, you're delusional. You're absolutely delusional. And that's good. That's actually a good thing, to be delusional enough to have dreams that are bigger than your current circumstances. That's called having faith. It's called having confidence and self-esteem. So from here on out, if anybody calls me delusional, I will take it as a compliment, because the way that I'm interpreting that is you basically are saying that I'm a powerful manifester. That's really what it is. Or when somebody says, you only got to where you are because you're pretty, you are actually affirming, number one, you're affirming my beauty. And number two, you're actually affirming the power of my beauty. So it's like, wow, I didn't think that I got here because of my beauty, but since you affirmed it, I mean, well, damn, I'll take that. I mean, I might as well internalize something positive. And also, have you ever noticed that you're only delusional before the manifestation? Like, you're delusional until you make that thing come true. Then suddenly you're not delusional. But think about how delusional Beyonce had to be to think that she could go from, just this country bumpkin girl in Houston to winning the most awards, like more awards than Michael Jackson and all of these other people, Whitney Houston. You have to be very delusional to think that. You have to have a very grandiose sense of self to think that you could do something like that. So delusion is actually not bad, in my opinion. Being delusional is not the insult that you think it is. And I think that delusion is really just you following the law of assumption, meaning you're assuming that you're pretty. So yeah, if I think that big butts are pretty and I have a big butt, damn right I'm going to assume that I'm pretty. Damn right I'm going to think I'm cute because I have a big butt. And, oh, well, Taylor Swift, you only think you're cute because you have blonde hair and blue eyes. Well, if she thinks that blonde hair and blue eyes are cute, then damn right she thinks she's cute. And who gon' check her? They have whole entire spiritualities that are based on delusion. I mean, think about it. Let's think about all religions in general. The fact that you think that the entire universe started with the Big Bang, or with God, or with Adam and Eve, and then Noah's Ark, and then the whole earth flooded, and then like the people came back or whatever. I mean, isn't that all technically going to be called delusional by somebody? Somebody's going to always call you delusional, no matter what you believe. But guess what? If it's your core belief, then it's real to you, and that's all that matters. So guess what? If I think I'm cute, then bitch, I'm cute. If I think I'm a 10, then I'm a fucking 10. And I'm not going to accept any treatment that is less than a 10. If I think that my YouTube channel is the shit, then it is the shit. If I think that the subscribers on this YouTube channel are the shit, then we are. And who gonna check us? And also, when it comes to people calling your confidence delusional, it's like, okay, I'd rather be overconfident than underconfident. The fuck? So am I supposed to be insecure and then have an external locus of control in hopes that others will build my confidence? Because if I give all of my power away, then that means that other people can build my confidence, but they can also take it away. So this is how you get the women who, one black guy says, I don't date dark-skinned women, and now she hates her skin for the rest of her life. That's how you get that. It's because you were underconfident and then you had an external locus of control. And so now that random 15-year-old little boy from high school, he was able to destroy your entire confidence and all of your future. And he was able to create such a long-lasting trauma to cause decades worth of pain in your life. That's how much power you gave that guy. So, hell yeah, I'm fucking delusional. Because being delusional actually helps to protect me from unnecessary trauma and unnecessary insecurities. So yes, I may go out and fail sometimes. I may go out and think I can do something and then maybe I don't get the job or whatever, but that's a much smaller trauma than being underconfident and then somebody else destroys me even more. And now I have to spend the rest of my life healing from traumas and trying to unravel all of these inferiority complexes rather than just choosing to be delusional enough to think that I am pretty enough or smart enough or worthy enough in the first place. So I want to tell you guys some affirmations that I do. If you don't believe in affirmations, you're probably insecure. Sorry. I mean, not sorry. But everyone is actually affirming themselves. So whether you recognize it or not, even if you're not affirming yourself out loud, you are affirming or disaffirming yourself in your own mind. So, you know how in your own brain you're kind of like talking to yourself? So, let's say you're walking and then you trip and fall or something. You might think in your mind, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. So, that's what I mean when I say you're either affirming or disaffirming yourself. I don't know if disaffirming is a word, but I like to try to train my brain to affirm myself as much as possible. So I do have some controversial affirmations that I say on this YouTube channel and also to myself. So, for example, one of the things that I say in my own mind all the time is, I'm the shit. I'm the shit. Why would I not be the shit? I mean, what am I supposed to be? The fuck? Actually, that's another one of my affirmations. If I'm saying an affirmation to myself in my mind and it sounds quote unquote delusional, like, okay, I'm a great YouTuber. Oh, no, you're not. There are so many other channels that are better than yours. Okay, well, what am I supposed to think of my YouTube channel? And that kind of shuts up all of the negative thoughts in my mind. So that's just an example of how I affirm myself. I don't necessarily say it out loud. I have before, though. Like when I was a Word of Faith Christian, I used to do affirmations every single day. I used to do it for like 40 minutes a day. I was very serious about it. And so, you know what? Maybe that did help. Well, actually, no, it's not maybe. It actually did help me because I grew up from the time I was a child. I actually grew up saying affirmations every single day from the time I was about 9 years old, all the way until maybe my late 20s. So I really did spend 20 years affirming myself. And I was like speaking scriptures and stuff over myself. So I'm not religious now, but I guess some of that stuff kind of did stick with me because it did affect my behavior and my beliefs. And it did make me more bold and have the audacity to create a YouTube channel or have the audacity to apply for an accounting job with no degree. That's very delusional. That's delusional as fuck. Who thinks that they can get two accounting jobs, one of them at the biggest company in my city? Who is delusional enough to think they can get a job at a huge company with no degree and no experience? That's extremely delusional. Okay, but my delusional thinking led me to being able to get that. So I'm talking about this because I seriously do think that if you are one of the subscribers to this channel, you're most likely a very powerful manifester because I sound so funny calling it a manifester. But no, like you probably are very powerful at manifesting because otherwise you wouldn't be attracted to this channel. I've noticed that insecure people are extremely triggered by this channel. They don't like this channel, but then they get mad though because they know that this content is fire, and so they get mad because they keep coming back. So they're experiencing the cognitive dissonance of, oh shit, I hate this bitch, but I like what she has to say. And it's like, okay, so just admit you don't actually hate this. But anyway, sorry. But I've noticed that a lot of us here on this part of YouTube, we're actually very powerful at manifesting. And even if you're not that powerful at it, well, something in you is still powerful because you clicked on videos like this. This is technically a level up channel, and this is technically a positive brainwashing type of channel. So when I use the term brainwashing, a lot of people are scared of that term. But what you don't realize is you're brainwashing yourself all the time, whether you realize it or not. So you're either brainwashing yourself in a positive way or you are brainwashing yourself negatively. So what are you putting into your mind? What kind of music are you listening to? Who are you talking to? Who are you hanging out with? Where are your thoughts coming from? Your thoughts are coming from somewhere. Thoughts are not created in a vacuum. So the thoughts that are implanted in your mind, they're coming from your environment, they're coming from your experiences, they're coming from what you watch and the music you listen to. So if you're watching a bunch of content that talks about how being black sucks, or like, being a woman of color means you're at the bottom and nobody likes your skin, and listen to all these bad, like I just saw a video pop up today and it was like dark-skinned black women and they were like, oh, this is a video about like my bad experiences. So this guy blocked me once he saw what I looked like. So the fact that that woman is even reaffirming a negative memory from over a decade ago, and she's plastering it on social media, talking about how negative her experience was with her own beauty, and then getting tens of thousands of people on TikTok to affirm that experience and to validate her negative experiences, what do you think that's going to do to her psyche over time? And what do you think that's going to do to the psychology of the people who are watching that, especially young little black girls coming up, who are like 13 years old, watching adult women who have their same phenotype talking about how terrible it's going to be? In which direction are they brainwashing themselves? Positively, negatively? You tell me. But no, I really do think that in a lot of cases, exoticals are just fantastic at manifesting. And people who have low self esteem, they can't figure out what it is. They think, oh, it has to be her skin tone. It has to be this. It has to be that. And it's like, maybe it's her confidence in that skin tone, or it's her confidence in that phenotype. It is her confidence in her singing ability or in her networking ability. And so you are capable of manifesting the same confidence, but guess what? You're going to have to take on one of the light skin qualities, which is being delusional. That negative stereotype that people like to give to light skinned black women. You're delusional. You're going to have to take on some of our qualities over here in the Pretty Girl Club if you want to succeed. So, how you like them apples? Oh, and also, sorry, let me know if you want me to talk more about the psychology of subliminals and stuff like that and affirmations. And if you guys want me to incorporate that into this channel and talk more about that, because I really do affirm you guys throughout my content just naturally. I subliminally affirm you guys by calling you the Pretty Girl Club or talking about the Creole work ethic or exotical tax. But let me know if you want me to do more videos on that. Anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.